Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite sunscreens for summer 2019, and I kept putting out this video quite a lot because a lot of the sunscreens that I used to love have been reformulated in the beginning of this year, so I had to try a lot of new sunscreens to find the ones that I really like and the ones that I wanted to share with you. So this video might be a little bit longer, so I'm going to have timestamps in the description box. If you're only interested in a certain product, please check the description box to see the product that you want to watch. If you're interested in the ingredients of all of the products that I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to have the ingredients list of each of the mentioned products in today's video on my blog. So go ahead and check out my blog if you're interested to see the ingredients of the products that I'm talking about. So let's get started and let me show you my picks for summer 2019. And before we start, I usually choose chemical sunscreens because they feel better on my skin. I like the way they look, I like the way they make me feel, and most of my life I've been using chemical sunscreen. I'm not in my early 20s and I don't have a lot of signs of aging, of premature aging, and I've been using only chemical sunscreens, so don't worry, just make sure to use a sunscreen that you like and that you enjoy using. So let's go ahead and get started. The first product that I want to show you and that I want to talk about is a sunscreen that I've been talking about a lot on this channel, on my blog, everywhere, and I've recommended this product to so many people. This is the Anthelios La Roche Posay, and this is the fluid formula. This is the SPF 50, and I want to warn you that this one has been reformulated in Europe. The formula of this product is different in Europe and in the US. In the US, I'm told that the formula is still good and it's still a good product. So in case you're based in the US, you can still use this one, or at least a lot of my friends are still using this one and they still enjoy using it. But in Europe, the formula has been changed as of the beginning of this year, and I don't like it anymore. I don't recommend it because it irritated my skin terribly. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try it if you're based in Europe. Go ahead, try it, but keep in mind that this one doesn't work for me anymore, and I have a lot of friends who also complained that their skin gets irritated after wearing this one. I don't know what they changed and why they decided to change it. This was a brilliant product and this was my holy grail for many years, but now it's changed. Okay, and moving on to the good ones. The good ones, one of the best sunscreens out there, and this is available both in the US and in Europe, and it's the same formula. This is by Filorga, and this is their UV Bronze for face. It has an SPF of 50, and this is a great product. So I think this is one of the best sunscreens out there on the market because it has a lot of beneficial ingredients for the skin, and it contains niacinamide, which is an awesome ingredient, and it doesn't cause breakouts, it doesn't clog pores. It's a great product. I think it has a very silky texture, and it's not a matte product, and a lot of the products that I'm going to show you today are not matte, but most sunscreens are not matte actually. This is a fluid, but it's not a very liquidy fluid, so you have to shake it before you use. And it's completely transparent. It has fragrance, so in case you're sensitive to fragrances, this might be a deal breaker for you, but I think this is a very high quality sunscreen, and it's worth a try in case you're not sensitive to fragrances. It feels nice on the skin, it feels very silky and smooth. It doesn't irritate my skin, so it leaves the skin a little bit shiny. So in case you're oily, you will have to powder or you will have to use foundation on top of that, but it layers very beautiful with different creams, with different serums, with different products, with different foundations, and I've been using this one for a couple of years now and I'm very happy with the results. Another favorite, and this has been a favorite of mine for a couple of years now, it's the same in the US and in Europe. This is by Armani, and it's actually a makeup base, and this is the Armani Maestro UV Skin Defense Primer SPF 50, and this is not a primer really because it doesn't work like a primer. It's very silky, it's very smooth, it looks beautiful on the skin. The only downside of this one is the price. This has been a favorite of mine for a couple of years, but I usually don't mention this one because it's very pricey. However, now I can't find a lot of sunscreens that I can recommend, a lot of good good sunscreens that I can recommend after the reformulations. So I decided that I'm going to show it to you. But be careful, don't feel pressured to get this one because this one is really expensive. Don't get a sunscreen, don't buy a sunscreen that you are not going to use or you're going to save, because if you use this as a sunscreen or instead of a sunscreen, you have to apply sufficient amount, and be careful because this is a very fluid formula and people usually tend to under apply sunscreens that have very liquidy and very runny formula. They tend to apply a lot less. This is also a chemical sunscreen. But there is something that I need to mention about this one. This one is not suitable for oily skin. So if you have oily skin, you're not going to like this one because this is going to look very oily. If you have oily skin, I have combination skin and I usually use powder on top of this one. I just like the feel of it. I just like the fact that it's completely invisible and it makes my skin feel silky, smooth and nice. But if you have oily skin, keep in mind that this one is not for you. This one is going to be great for someone who has normal to dry skin or mature skin because it feels very moisturizing, it feels very comfortable. If you have normal to combination skin, you can still use this one. I have normal to combination skin and I really enjoy using this one, but I use a good amount of powder on top of this one just to make it less shiny. And I usually get the Armani UV primer when it's on discount because I really like how it feels on my skin. And most of the time when I want to wear makeup, I'm going to use this one because makeup applies beautifully on top of this one and it layers beautifully with different products. But keep in mind that this doesn't work like your traditional primer. It's just a sunscreen. So if you're hoping that this is going to make your foundation flawless or something like that, it's not that kind of primer. It's not the kind of primer that is going to conceal pores or imperfections. It's not like that. It's just going to create a nice base and it's going to give you a very, very good SPF. Of course, the foundation applies very nicely on top of this one. But it's not your typical primer. If you expect that it's going to conceal your pores, or if you expect that for the price this is going to do some miracles with your skin, this is not going to happen. This is not going to make your skin look more beautiful, or it's not going to change dramatically the way your skin or your foundation looks. It's just a very, very beautiful and very luxurious sunscreen. Another favorite, and this is a new reformulated version of Shiseido Expert Sun, and this is SPF 50. This is WetForce Invisible, and it really is invisible. I'm going to show you now how it applies. So this is a very lightweight fluid and it's for those of you, it's very runny as you can see, and it's for those of you who really don't like wearing sunscreens and who think that sunscreens can feel heavy. It's for face and body, and once you blend it in the skin, it's very, very beautiful. It's amazing. So this one I would say is like a cheaper version of the Armani UV primer. It's a lot cheaper than Armani and it's 100 ml. I don't really remember what was the price. I think it was approximately 30 euros. So approximately 30 or 32, 34 US dollars. I'm going to have links in the description box, but it's way cheaper than the Armani one, and it's still a fluid and it still feels very pleasant and it's still as invisible. So this one is suitable for all skin types, except if you are very oily, you will need to use powder on top of this one because it's going to make your skin look shiny. Now moving on to another favorite, and this one is very beautiful. This is by Clarins and it's SPF 50 and it has plant extracts also. This one claims to be a matte product. It claims to be mattifying. I wouldn't say it's mattifying. Probably if you have normal to dry skin, this is going to look matte on your skin, but it's definitely not matte on my skin. I have normal to combination skin, so if you're like me and you have normal to combination skin, this looks natural on the skin. It's not going to mattify your skin, but it's not going to make your skin oily either. It doesn't leave any white residue. It feels very pleasant on the skin and it almost feels like a primer because it leaves that silky finish on the skin. I have normal to combination skin, and if I use this on top of my moisturizer or on top of my serum, I definitely feel a little bit of shine that I want to remove. So I will always use powder or a little bit of foundation on top of it just to make it look a little bit better. If I apply it without using a moisturizer, it really is matte. So with sunscreens, it all depends on your skin type, really. If you're normal to dry, this one is going to be completely matte on your skin. But if you're normal to combination or oily, this one is going to look natural on your skin. It's not going to make your skin oilier, but you definitely need to use something to reduce the shine. Another thing about this one has very strong fragrance, however, so in case you're sensitive to fragrances, make sure to check it out first before purchasing, because the fragrance is very strong and you're going to feel the fragrance like probably an hour after application. I can still feel the fragrance of this one. I really like the fragrance though, but I generally like fragranced skincare, and fragrance doesn't irritate my skin. But if you're one of those sensitive people and if you're sensitive to fragrances, this one is not going to be for you. Moving on to another brilliant sunscreen, and this is an old favorite, and this has been a favorite of mine for many years, and this is by La Roche Posay, and this is again Anthelios. This one is a tinted sunscreen and it has an SPF of 50, and this one looks very much and performs very much like a Dior Mousse foundation, Dior Forever Mousse. I think it's suitable for all skin types, and I think this one performs a lot better than Dior Forever Mousse. Really, it does perform better than Dior Forever Mousse, because Dior Forever Mousse feels very, very drying and somehow emphasizes the pores. This one works like a brilliant primer with SPF 50, because it is like a silicone-based primer and it's going to cover imperfections. It has very nice, very natural finish, and it's the perfect makeup base because it's going to cover pores, imperfections, and this one is a product that is actually going to fill in pores, and it has that matte finish, which is awesome, and I think it's awesome for people who have oily skin. I'm going to show you how it looks. Now, there are two issues with this one. First of all, there are only 2 shades available, and if the shade doesn't match your skin tone, you're not going to be able to use it. For my skin, it's very dark, so I can't use it. So make sure to check out the colors. If they don't work for you, you're not going to be able to use enough product. And last but not least, I want to show you a sunscreen that a lot of you have been asking me about, and this is by Dior. This is the new reformulated Dior Bronze SPF 50. A lot of you asked me to review this one. This is a very good, very beautiful sunscreen. However, the issue that I have with this one, it doesn't work with everything. So even if you're using the Dior moisturizer, this might not work. So this is a product that looks beautiful on its own, and it works beautiful on its own, but if you start layering it with other foundations or moisturizers, this might not work with everything. In fact, it works with very few products. I think if I wear this one alone and then I apply foundation on top of it, it works beautiful. But if I want to apply serum, then follow with this one and foundation, it doesn't work. It all starts to peel off of my skin. It looks completely transparent once you blend it on your skin. It doesn't leave a white cast, so it's suitable for all skin tones, but it's not a matte product. It feels very pleasant, and at first when you apply it, you're going to feel like you have some cream, some moisturizer on your face, and then once it's set, 5 minutes after application, you're not going to feel this one anymore. So I would say that it's a beautiful product, but you just have to know that it doesn't work with everything. So that's all I had for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. Tell me what's your favorite sunscreen this year, or do you have a holy grail sunscreen that you really enjoy using? Let me know in the comments below. For those of you who are interested to see the ingredients of all of the products that I mentioned in this video, I'm going to have the ingredients of all of the products on my blog, so go ahead and check out my blog. And also I'm going to briefly write a few things about each of the products that I mentioned in this video. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!